We can hear today, y'all.
We'll go ahead and start with the the roll call.
Okay. Mr. Hempstead's here, Ms. McCarthy's here. Ms. Kuby is attending remotely, I think for medical reasons. Mr. Chapman's here, Ms. McGee's here, and Dr. Cobrick's here.
Awesome. We'll do the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So has anybody filled out a comment card?
I have not received any comment
Has
cards.
anyone that wants to speak, have you had the opportunity to fill out a comment card yet? No. Comment card. So we're doing a comment card. So this way, I guess someone on council can't directly answer your question. We've got your information to be able to get back to you and get in. So if anybody wants to speak.
If they ask the question and if they needed to fill out the comment card.
Yeah, absolutely. But we can use those to know who to start with.
Because nobody's gonna go.
Right. But that way we're getting back to anybody that does have questions, we can, get answers for them.
I'm sorry.
This is a new thing for us, so we're gonna kind of play with the format a little bit. I would ask that everybody conduct themselves with professionalism and decorum. Throughout this, it's meant to be open dialogue in both directions so that we can obtain answers to questions and concerns and address them. But again, remaining professional, remaining with decorum throughout the meeting. So Stephanie L, who is up first? We don't have.
Do you want to start there? Or you want me to start with this email? It's up to you.
You can start with the email.
Okay,
You
so
only get the one.
I only have the one via email. It says, I want to answer to this tonight from.
Can you talk louder?
Yep. I want to answer to this tonight from Dave Hempstead. I think back in April, when he was first being looked at for council, he was asked, what do you think a position on town council means? He said, I have no idea. I'm going to find out. Why I think this is a typo. I think it's supposed to say, why should citizens grant him grace to find out when he does not allow the other council members or others? At the same meeting, he said, I like projects that get to the end with everyone smiling. Does he still feel this way? Are you willing to move on and get things done? Thanks.
I think there's a couple of questions in there.
I still feel the same way. Whoever sent that, you can tell them that I still look to see whatever projects I'm involved with get to an end with everybody still smiling and happy. And like I said in my campaign, I don't give up. I haven't quit. I'm not going to. If anybody see another question?
I think I can reread it. It looks like a lot of questions, like you said. So something about why should grant him to find, why citizens should grant him grace to find out when he does not allow the other council members or others. So I think it's supposed to say like, why doesn't he grant grace to, and then one about, are you willing to move on and get things done? I can give everyone.
I think I've answered that. Don't intend to quit. Keep moving on.
Well, I
With
just want
that being said, can I ask a question?
I want to elaborate on Mr. Hempstead's answer. And I think if we use the last meeting as a barometer where we all came together and conducted ourselves with grace and professionalism, I think that's a great step in the direction of working together for the productive means of the town.
Can I ask a question now? Okay, with that being said, as you've gone around to all the citizens in town, all your statements that you or your wife did in the newspaper, with all the things on emails that I've seen, on all of the letters to the editor, whatever. You have called this council rough, idiots, stupid, morons, ignorant, and why? You have to prove, am I stupid? Are you stupid? I wouldn't call you stupid. You and your wife have done a very good job of putting us down and slandering us. That's
So what's your question?
my question is, why do you think that we're stupid and ignorant and morons? You call the lawyer a moron. It's not right. You should not be calling us. We're supposed to be working together. And how are we going to work together when you sit there and you call us stupid, idiots, and among other things that you called us?
You want the honest truth?
Yes, I
I
do.
think that anybody that breaks the law is stupid, period.
Now, who broke the law?
Well, where do you want to start?
Who broke the law?
The trailer court, that you weren't there, but the trailer court has several laws that have been broken. Buying the land without doing proper research on the deed to find out if in fact the deed does have a lien on it, and if the bankruptcy is still in effect or not, because most bankruptcies do not get cleared in less than a year. And there's just been a lot of things that I've tried to point out. And
But we're not.
everybody seems to get really upset when I point these
But
things
we're
out.
not stupid, we're not idiots, okay? And another thing, it's your plan for the trailer, well, excuse me, I'm not gonna call it a trailer, for the houses down there. You said you got a plan. You told everybody that you went to that houses because people have called me. What is your plan to get rid of those houses? You said you had a plan, so what
I
is
don't
it?
know that I want to go into any details, but I'll tell you this. When Tori Williams had a surveyor, and I talked to the surveyor, vacated out on that plat plan. It wasn't even a legitimate survey. That he broke the law. That's felony because he sold the property. Becky, you asked me a question. I'm trying to
All
answer.
right, I don't have to agree with you.
You don't have to agree with me, but I tried to tell everybody this. When you take a piece of property and erroneously sell it to another individual without making it clear that the deed is not clear, he was saying that he owned that alley when he wrote vacated alley on that. And that is a felony. So that's the first step. I'll tell you that.
If you have a plan and you told the people in the town, the citizens, that you have a plan, why can't you? What is the plan? It's no plan. You know it's no plan.
Yes,
And that's all I have to
And it
say.
things don't happen overnight,
Okay,
but the wheels are in motion.
Yeah, right.
what's our next question?
I did not receive any other questions.
That's it? Does anybody, you don't have any other?
Are we not allowed to know who asked that question?
So it says name, Scott, email, none@none.com.
You don't want to know who asked the question.
And we can provide that. Is there any other personal information on there?
That's all it says. It's just Scott, none@none.
If I may, I'll make one other comment. At the last council meeting, when we were in private session, I said, do you know that they've sold the property or that they're selling the Miller Mart? And you got all upset. Have you gone over Miller Mart lately? They posted in the window that the new owners are hotels.
You can't say what's in a.
Yes,
We're in private, you can't tell.
they posted it in the window on the.
Well, yeah, it's public knowledge of the ownership. It's changing hands.
Yeah, and that is, but I'm just saying is you can't say what we said in the
Yeah.
private session, so that's what we can't say.
Right, we want to be careful about that.
But
Does
yes, it
anybody
has,
else have a question that they'd
Sad.
like to?
that we're losing our businesses. It is sad. We are losing our businesses.
Just change it.
Right.
Changing ownership.
Yeah.
It'll still be a grocery store.
It will. We lost,
And now they're gonna lick the license.
yeah, well, we lost somebody who was willing, took us a lot of money into
No, I did, it's just for, I asked a question, and received an answer on does the conditional use permit transfer with owners? And
Right.
it does.
Yeah.
So the new owners would still be able to invest if they chose to, um, putting gas pumps in. So
Yeah,
it still could potentially happen.
could potentially happen. Okay.
Does anybody else have a question for council?
You must be doing my job.
The two residents.
Well, and I
Any
think-
of you have anything you want?
I think the horrific cold weather kept a lot of people home.
It is
tonight, I
very
think.
cold.
I have a question.
Sure.
And I just learned about this. Michelle's asking for, what is it, a right of way to her property she just bought. Michelle, there's town roads on both sides of the property. Why are you asking for a right of way when the road is the right of way?
Because there's several options, and that was just one of them. I didn't actually ask for the right of way. It was just an option. And actually, it was a theoretical discussion of right of ways versus openings and closings. And I haven't asked for anything specific yet.
So they wasted all that time at the planning commission discussing that, which really, the question wasn't even there. The town code says if you're gonna build on an undeveloped street, in order to build, you have to develop the street. So you have two streets.
Or close the street. Right.
Why would you want to close the street?
I'm just saying it has been done often in this town as you close the streets.
It depends on the area,
Right.
but, why would you want to close the street? So your access would be cheaper rather than opening the road?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's a variety of reasons you would want to, but.
Sounds like a discussion that's still ongoing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's a variety of different reasons you might want to do it and,
Right.
but it's something that has to be figured out.
It was-
Zoning
I
administrator
think
has to figure it out.
what Mrs. Harlow, I think what you saw at the planning commission meeting was intended to be a general discussion with the presentation of options
Right.
for the planning commission to kind of wrap their brains around and make their recommendation to town council as far as what they would do.
But there's no recommendation. There's two streets there. Why does she need a recommendation?
It's her right as a citizen to apply for closure or easement or whatever her request is. And then it's the planning commission's job to compare that to the comprehensive plan and our zoning laws and then make that recommendation to council. So we are going to follow that process in making sure that the due diligence is done.
Well, and the road can't be closed unless both landowners on both sides decide to agree with that.
Well,
Same thing with an easement. An easement, to grant an easement, you have to own the property on both sides of whatever easement you're trying to create. So if it's owned by different landowners, then you have to have their permission. The town can't just arbitrarily make it an easement.
Well, that's information that we'll learn as it goes through its process. That's why we're following the due diligence. Any other questions?
Anybody else?
Going once?
Oh, I could bring up streetlights, but I mean, it's already been discussed.
street light.
What about streetlights?
Can't,
My neighborhood is dark.
her neighborhood is dark.
If you turned off the personal security lights that everybody has to put up, if you go outside at like 10 PM, you can literally not see your hand in front of your face.
Yeah.
Or the bears come.
You have great stuff.
Great.
These personal security lights, are they up on the poles? Is it like a Virginia,
No.
a Dominion
I
power
have
light?
Lights on my pole. Okay, you gotta remember, everybody here knows who built my house. There are
I don't.
8 secure,
No, I don't really.
Loudon Construction.
Yeah, I don't.
There are 8, Kevin used to live there. There are 8 security lights on my house, so I am contributing to the lighting of the neighborhood. But to get to my house, once you're past, like where Jim lives, Jim Snyder,
Yeah.
he lives right on 7th Street. There's nothing. There's nothing on the poles. There's nothing. It's dark.
When when the power comes up, puts a light on a power pole. If it's in our town, do we have to pay electrical for that?
I'm pretty sure it goes to the property owner.
I think it's about $14.
Yeah, $14 a month or something.
I don't know. There's a process that we have to go through to request streetlights. So I put that on my list. I'll talk.
I'm not the only one that needs them.
Oh, I know all the streets.
Yeah.
My action item is streets on town roads.
Right.
So I can get with somebody, see if they can present something to us, figure out what the process is. We'll go from there.
But to address your question, so for the existing streetlights, like on Mineral Avenue, the town pays that electric bill.
No,
That's right.
do we?
Yes, it's like $12 or $13 per
That's what I
light
thought.
fixture.
Okay.
I would assume the same thing would happen. You know, we would have to present that to landowners where there are no streetlights and say, this is a potential increase in our taxes to do this, so that they would know.
They don't at my.
You don't. The town pays for the streetlights.
You have street, lights on the street, on the power poles near your house.
I think it goes Mineral, I believe that.
You have one that shouldn't. I have two. I have one at the end of 7 St. Francis. And one down the second.
We could probably get more. It's just a matter of figuring out how to do that. Where to get the, how the funds, where the funds come from to do that. There's grants. That's something that we just have to look into.
Probably hasn't been looked at for
No.
20 years.
I'm
No.
sure. It's been on my list to look at.
Around, there's a lady that lives, I believe it's on Seventh and or 8th near Chesterfield. And she lives there all alone. And she asked me that question and I completely forgot about it. Why don't we have streetlights?
Yes, that would be a good project for
Yeah.
us to look into and kind of do feasibility and see what it would look like.
I have a question. The school property, is Mr. Morgan cleaning it off now? Is he in the
did
process?
He called me. I was out of the office on Friday. We were closed Monday. I was out of the office today. He did call and leave a message. He's wanting to be able to do that. So yes, he is in the process of doing
He
that.
has until end of January?
It's the,
February
I think
15th.
it's February. It's
15th.
Yeah, I think it was February 15th.
Something like
So he would
I
have.
don't know. There's a,
Because he is known to not follow through.
he has been in communication with the town several times in the last couple weeks.
Is he gonna pay land taxes?
Um,
He hasn't paid any since 2020.
okay.
Any other questions?
Hmm.
Can Bernice hear, please?
Yes, she can hear me.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear.
Ooh, that was loud.
Sorry.
No, it's us.
Volume.
Stephanie figured out the TV volume thing.
Bernice, do you have any questions that you might? Anybody else on council have any questions they want?
Maybe we should just have town halls, not meetings. This is going better.
I like the informalness of
I do
this. I
too.
like being able to just chat and, I do. I like this.
And just
We were
being-
thinking about doing this quarterly. What do you guys think?
I think.
I think it's better.
Yeah.
And
Like Ron said, maybe the weather is what's keeping people away.
I know at least.
Next time we'll bring
message
cookies
me
and brownies.
that they ain't coming out because it's too cold. So I would like to see them grow, it's the first one we've done, so, we test the waters and see what happens, but I think it kind of cleared the air and got some answers to questions that people have. I think that we'll start to see more participation if we keep doing it. Bless you.
The goal for the questions, just answers to questions, if we don't have direct answers at the town halls, is to try to make sure we have a list of the questions and answers for the next council meeting. So that they'll be
I
there.
like Becky's idea. Let people show up and don't restrict them because that's First Amendment right. Don't restrict them on forcing them to say what they want to talk about.
All right.
And once they get here, like Becky said, then you can have them put down their information, contact information, so we can get back to them.
Yeah.
That way people won't feel like they're not going to be heard because they have to write down the questions.
Right.
Right.
And then it limits what a person can say. The only limit that I would ask is that, again, we remain professional and with decorum, because I think we get more done that way. But the comment cards are for specifically, if we don't have an answer right now, because there's going to be stuff we can't answer. Off the top
Yeah, we
of
can't
our
answer
heads.
the streetlights now, and in February, we'll give an update. I guess Nicole will give an update. She probably won't have an answer then because, things take longer than that, but.
Right. But I think this way, if there is a
Becky was
legitimate-
saying, if they, after they say what they're going to talk about and they decide that, it would be good to have contact information to get back to you, we can either say, well, we're doing this on a quarterly basis. We will have an answer no later than, if not by the next council meeting.
Right.
And I think that would make people a little bit more likely to stop by and ask questions.
And feel like they're being heard.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll type them up and have answers in the meeting. If there's something that needs to be talked about and someone does give their contact information and they want to answer, as soon as we find it, we can contact them. But there will be a copy of the questions and answers in the council packet.
That's a good idea.
I had one more thing, maybe this is great. One thing that just came to mind was, I think that, if we receive emails or someone doesn't want to give their name, they want to do the anonymous. And that's asking for trouble. If you can't put your name behind what your question or your problem is, I think maybe there ought to be, you gotta tell us who you are, if you're gonna talk. That's okay. Yeah, that's not violating anything in the Constitution I can see. But you can just get the nitpickers, that wouldn't ever say it in public. And that's not gonna help anybody.
I think if someone wants to remain anonymous, so be it. I mean, they may not even
Becky.
want to.
I'm gonna say there's nothing to say.
I think if the person is willing to call a council in a town with a question, the person should be willing to sign their name to the bottom of it.
Yeah, only what you say.
But that's not,
But it's an email, so I mean,
Now, maybe
we only
it
got
could
one.
be
right?
that council only knows who the person is, rather than the whole community knowing who the person is who asked
That
the
works.
question, but at least council would know
Yeah.
who that person is.
Nicole?
Well, that's a different way to look at it.
So I'm going to agree with Hank on the second part of that. So examples of something like this happening is if you have a code complaint, which in my opinion, when you're talking to council and you're pointing out something negative or you just want to state a comment, a lot of times staff will know the information, the contact information, especially on a code complaint, because they'll have to get back to that person to let them know what has happened. But that's an anonymous and that just stays in with staff or wherever. It's not to be given out at all. And that's just to protect the person that is making the comment or helping the town do something code related, whatever that may be. So there are, all localities do things like this and keep it anonymous just for the safety. They would like the people and the individuals who are not comfortable sharing their personal information and letting everyone know who said something. They don't want that out there. So I think just it's what you guys decide, but that's why, is to keep it anonymous because it benefits the town. Otherwise, they're not going to comment ever again.
and I think we should, it's not only citizens, if somebody has a business or even somebody just lives outside of town wants to ask us a question, they should be allowed to.
Yeah.
We don't have to, I mean, it does not have to be a citizen. It does not have to be a business. If somebody that lives in Louisa wants to ask us a question, why not?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll give you an example. I talked to a gentleman, 3 days ago. And he owns S&J Farm Supply in Louisa. And railroad has bought his building. He didn't have any choice in it. And he is looking for a building. And he said, do you know of any buildings that are available in Mineral that I can rent? And I said, I'm only aware of two. Debbie Moon's building, I said, I haven't been there. I don't know if it's structurally sound. I don't know anything about it. I said, you'd have to talk to her. And I said, the only other one that I'm aware of is at the end of the farmer's market, and that needs a lot of work. So, but point is, Becky's right. There are people out there that are interested in the town for whatever reasons, and they ought to be able to ask questions.
I agree. And we also have our recycling plant. You know, we have that piece of land. We need to think about, we could rent that to a business instead of just using it to collect cans. You know what I mean? It'd be a nice business. Let's think about that, okay? From I'm just gonna bring this up, from an economic development perspective, we could still just move the can catcher over and we could have a business there, you know? So,
SFJ is great.
but that our counselors are getting those calls, and I got a call that's similar to that. I love that. And, you know, we should bring that to council and we should get this stuff rented, get the businesses into our town. And, you know, just whatever land we have, you know, the turkey house or the vulture house next to you, whatever, get it filled up, get it going and, you know, as best we can. And so we are going to have an economic development committee that's going to start doing this and keeping track of this and trying to fill up this because, you know, we need more. And everybody here should know, Debbie Moon offered that building to the town. And nobody here knows what it looks like. Nobody here has responded to that offer. You know, so
No, well.
I know it's a difficult one. I'm just saying is that we all need to be more involved in our town, not.
Well, I know, but I passed that along to council.
I know.
I heard
We
from
didn't do
one
anything with it.
person
We didn't do anything.
and that was it. And just the building you cannot rent.
It's
If Debbie Moon
Yeah, I
would
know.
like to rent the building, that's a liability that for
Okay.
her. But the town would have to tear that down if
Oh,
we
I
were
know.
ever to,
I know.
so it doesn't have there's no footings in it. It's just plywood. There's nothing. It's a dirt floor. There's no running water. There's nothing. So
It's like 12-inch. It's got these amazing structural things. But no, it used to be a saloon and it used to be a movie theater and it used to be like 100 different things. 600 years old. But the only thing that's there are the beams. Everything else is dirt and plywood. And so
So it's a
there's
post-meeting building.
all it is, but there's nothing else. And so, yeah, we couldn't do anything with it. We'd have to tear it down. All I'm just saying is that
Well, no,
we haven't involved ourselves in anything
it's too dangerous.
as council.
The actual
And we
frame structure is sound, then you could go in and put a floor in, you could put.
You could.
Can't.
It would cost.
There's no reason.
It could cost
that
a
there
fortune.
can't, unless you have, like, somebody from Louisa Buildings come in and inspect it and say, no, it's gotta be condemned. And, I mean, it's like anything else, there's a process, so.
Absolutely.
Well, and it was presented to members of council.
But we have a lot of stuff going on right now. It's not a good
Is
time.
it anything available down where Jen's is? The craft store? What about that? It used to be a guy there that did fruits and vegetables and.
And then that
all
spot
that.
next to.
Yeah.
Next to,
Jen's.
and then next to,
And it.
the Mineral Restaurant has that whole
Yeah,
parking
that's-
lot where they were gonna build a new restaurant and they never were able to do that, but that land's still there. So I'm just saying is that, you know, we're gonna start trying to encourage, you know, a little
Yeah,
more.
But is it anything next door to Jen right there?
There's something in there. Is it a flooring store?
Yeah.
It used to be,
I can't-
oh, that's on up further. This
I don't know.
is the first part of it, and it was a fruit and vegetable, whatever, and then it became a dog. Yeah, and then I don't think it's anything.
We're just really struggling with that because it's like on that side of town and we don't put a lot of energy into sending people down that way. And so we do need to.
Right.
So.
We need
you
to
know,
find out from Jen or from Debbie if that building is and maybe get in touch with the guy. I know.
No,
the
it's a
guy.
feed store. That would not be appropriate for a feed store. It's a feed store. So he needs,
Oh, well, he doesn't.
yeah,
need
no, he
that,
needs
but
a lot of space.
What I'm thinking is the food cart, the vegetable, the tomatoes, I get all my
Yeah, he needs
tomatoes.
a building for feed.
Is this the same place that was in that corner?
Maddox Feed is what it is, Maddox Feed,
Okay.
and then it became S&J Feed.
Yeah.
But he needs a big warehouse in the back for feed, and then the front has the fruits and vegetables, so that's why I was thinking about the recycling bin place. You know, and we could, but whatever, we just need to, be looking around, but I'm just saying, just in general, we need to put more.
You need pad sites for people to be able to come and. still
Do something.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, any other questions for?
Just a follow-up, and then this may be a vote, so I don't know if that's what y'all want to do today. So where did we land on the whole anonymous versus non-anonymous?
Yeah, the discussion, I don't think,
Yeah,
unless they
okay.
say something really awful, I don't think I would exclude them. I mean, you know, let's just take it a meeting at a time, and when we hit
Well,
something
that was
like that, we'll
my
do
whole thought
it.
was, you know, like when you read the Facebook pages, there's always somebody. It's gotta be difficult. You know, and they're anonymous when they do this. So how are you gonna manage those? But you don't want that polluting
Right.
the whole meeting.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, it's a real damper when they do that. You know, but it's just.
I'll take them as they come and evaluate each one before we present it. Should we do that until we see how many we actually get?
I think we play it by ear for the next, because the next one will be in 4 months, right? Once a quarter, so it's 4 months.
May,
So we're looking at May.
April, May.
April.
Yeah, I would think, hey,
So I'd say we kind of look at it, hopefully we can, build a bigger audience for the next one.
I think
And
so.
one more participation, I think would be great.
And advertising is not just citizens,
Yeah,
whatever, whoever,
Just show up and talk, basically.
basically.
don't have to do it beforehand either. That's gonna cut them off, they're not gonna do it.
Make it a potluck. One
No.
outside, like in the middle of summer,
No,
picnic, a potluck picnic.
absolutely not.
Then, ladies and gentlemen, I will take a motion to adjourn. So made, I need a second. Seconded. Adjourn.
Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah.